Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for December 19th, 2012. We are 2 days away from the start of winter, and it is currently 9:14 a.m. Well, as you can see, we are roughly about 10 degrees colder than what we were yesterday, as we have temperatures in the mid to upper 30s over the northern interior, especially around northeastern Pennsylvania and around Messina. Upper 30s to lower 40s over the rest of the region, lower to mid 40s right along the immediate coast, with a stiff northwesterly to westerly wind around anywhere between 5 to 15 miles per hour with higher gusts. These winds are going to remain in place throughout the day, leading to chilly conditions for the most part. Again, pretty dry, but still with the winds anywhere around 10 to 15 miles per hour and temperatures in the mid 40s to low 50s. You'll feel more like the upper 30s because of those winds. As far as precipitation, as you can see, the radar is pretty much high and dry. We have a storm exiting out over the Gulf of Maine. Another storm is starting to develop over the Mississippi River Valley, but as you can see, much of the northern Mid-Atlantic and, well, much of the Ohio River Valley is currently pretty much dry. As we take a look at the latest infrared satellite picture, you can see our storm exiting out into the Atlantic and a new storm starting to brew over the southern plains. Now, this storm is going to intensify and lift up towards the St. Lawrence River Valley, and that's going to lead to a wall of rain coming through the region on Friday morning. That should be pretty heavy and will likely reduce visibility and cause some problems for your morning rush hour on Friday morning. The storm will also usher in a very cold air mass into the northern mid-Atlantic. Don't be surprised on Friday afternoon if you see some snow showers and even a little bit of accumulating snow on some car tops and grassy surfaces, especially if you're north and west of the major cities. So definitely some colder air is on the way, and a change in our pattern as far as how we feel is certainly starting to develop and starting to unfold throughout the eastern United States. Taking a look at the latest weather vapor satellite picture, you can see all the players starting to come together here. Here's the beginning of our blocking over the northern Atlantic. Now, the way this is setting up over the northern Atlantic, it still does not force a storm along the coast. It's close, but it's not there yet. This storm cutting up into the St. Lawrence River Valley is expected to create a blocking pattern that will significantly alter the weather pattern over the eastern portions of North America. That's right, North America. However, I'm warning you right now, the models are not handling this at all very well, okay? And the reason why is because you have all these players on the field. You have all these disturbances interacting. And as a result, it's having a hard time dealing with the different disturbances, how to phase them, which upper level low is the dominant upper level low, where is the high latitude blocking, where is the ridge set up. And so as a result, you're seeing these different solutions. And for example, last night with the what we call 0Z model guidance, we saw a major shift in the models for a track of a storm next week from basically the Ohio Valley. Now it's very much along the eastern seaboard and potentially off of the coast, producing a rather interesting winter storm development for much of the eastern United States. Notice I'm not saying snowy. There's a reason for that. Anyway, as you can see, the whole pattern is starting to evolve here. Our subtropical jet stream is more active. Here's another storm dropping out of the Gulf of Alaska, but quickly moving towards the west coast. So we're seeing kind of a separation in the jet streams here. You have a polar jet stream that is clearly becoming more blockish in nature, slowing down, a lot more storms swirling out here in the northern Atlantic, more of a ridge continuing to keep on trying to rebuild over the Gulf of Alaska, even with these departing storms. And you can see our subtropical jet stream remaining very active. So we're dealing with a very volatile weather pattern here that is not easy to forecast for and certainly not easy to use the models for. So when we take a look at the European model guidance, we'll start with tonight. Now, as you can see for tonight, here's our storm exiting out into the Canadian Maritimes. But notice the way that the whole pattern is set up here. We have a confluent zone over the St. Lawrence River Valley, but it isn't sustained. So yes, cold air is in place ahead of this storm, but it isn't able to sustain itself. So expect dry conditions for today on through tomorrow with basically chilly, near normal weather conditions. Temperatures aren't too bad, basically in the mid to upper 40s for most locations, as you can see. Now here's our storm lifting up. Now notice we lose our blocking because our Atlantic pattern is not mature yet. It's getting there, but it's not there yet. So as a result, you have this weakness setting up towards the St. Lawrence River Valley, and this storm intensifying. Now, look at all the disturbances we have in place on the model guides. We have our big storm diving down through the west coast. We have another disturbance here, another disturbance here, another, well, big disturbance here, more disturbances over here. Lots of disturbances, lots of energy floating around in the weather pattern, and that leads to a lot of error in the model guides. Now, up to this point, the models are, well, pretty much in strong agreement here. Low pressure system cutting up towards the Ohio River Valley, our low pressure system lifting up towards Michigan, and that means that we're going to see some snow over portions of Chicago. So yes, your snow drought is coming to an end, but it also means basically on Thursday evening, clouds are going to increase, and a wall of rain, as you can see right here, all this moisture is going to lift up towards the northern mid-Atlantic. Now between Thursday evening and Friday evening, this low pressure system shifts up towards basically Syracuse and my old stopping grounds in Oswego, New York, right around Lake Ontario. And as it's doing so, it's going to drive very cold air right into the northern mid-Atlantic. So on Friday, look for periods of heavy rain in the morning, transitioning over to or mixing with snow. Accumulations maybe an inch or two over your higher interior, especially above 1,000 feet. The best chance for any type of snowfall would be extreme northwestern New Jersey and northeastern Pennsylvania. Again, nothing major, just something at the tail end here, possibly a little bit of a lake enhancement as the storm lifts north. But once this rain moves through, and it will be a heavy rain, so watch out for localized flash flooding, then you'll see your temperatures start to crash in the afternoon. And when I say crash, I mean that we're going to go from the upper 40s into the mid 30s in a very rapid period of time. But in the meantime, this storm is going to start to develop a very interesting pattern here over the eastern United States. So by the time we get into Saturday, our upper level low is starting to shift up towards the Canadian Maritimes and towards southeastern New York, southeastern Connecticut, Canada, should I say. And you can see all these disturbances here, again, in our weather pattern. Basically what we have here is a weakness over southern Canada and building heights over northern Canada and Greenland. So what you eventually end up with is this type of blocking pattern by the time we get to Sunday. Now here's where it gets interesting. Many models, including the ensemble model guidance, produces what's called a Rex block, setting up over portions of southeastern Canada. Basically, upper level ridge and right below it upper level low, and those two feed on each other and build on each other, and basically it's very hard to break down, but also the models are very bad at forecasting them. Such a pattern would lead to a very stormy and potentially cold weather pattern over the eastern United States if it sets up right. So we're going to have to watch to see exactly how this sets up, and really from this point on, the forecast of any type of storm track before this event happens is highly susceptible, because we really don't know exactly how this block is going to set up, how strong it's going to be, and also what the orientation is going to be. Once we get that nailed down, then the forecast thereafter becomes very easy, because there is no storm that can move up into this block. You can't have a storm cut up in this direction with this block setting up here. It has to cut out this way. Cannot cut up this way, cannot go up towards the St. Lawrence River Valley or towards central New York, has to move up along the coast and out, which then it becomes entrained in this whole weather pattern here. So any type of forecast that has a low pressure system, let's say around Texas, that cuts up towards the St. Lawrence River Valley, physically can't happen. Now the model guidance, as typically it does, is trying to break this down way too fast, and typically that does not happen. So again, we're going to have to see exactly how this storm evolves on Friday, how it changes the 500 millibar pattern. Then you could start to make some predictions on what to expect with the storm for December 27th and onward. If this block sets up, game on. If it doesn't set up, another cutter towards the St. Lawrence River Valley. However, based on what I'm seeing right now from all the model data, and I'll talk about this for premium members with the severe winter weather discussion and long range discussion video coming up later on this morning. If this block sets up, we are in for a very interesting weather pattern into the start of January. Well, that is your forecast discussion for today. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Oh, by the way, for this weekend, forgot to mention, be prepared for much colder weather, especially with temperatures in the basically mid 30s to lower 40s, with a wind chill basically in the upper 20s to low 30s. So if you've been waiting for winter-like weather, you're going to get it by the time you get to Saturday afternoon, that is for sure. Again, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there.